Howdy Hive Scum, and it is a joyous early Sanguinala for me because Games Workshop were lovely enough to send me a copy of Warhammer Necromunda Skirmish, the new core set of Necromunda. I have to say, this is probably one of the biggest moments in my YouTube time, that's for sure, in the last 4 years of doing YouTube and the last 9 or so years of playing the current edition of Necromunda. Things are changing. We have a new core set, and what I'm going to do today is give you my first impressions, because I haven't actually opened this box yet. I just got back off 2 or 3 buses to be able to bring this bad boy home from the post office. So it's here now, and I'm really excited to crack this open and see what's inside. But not only the contents, we're going to take a look at some of the rule book. I want to save all of the meat and potatoes for a much more comprehensive video. You know me, I like to spend a little bit of time stewing things over, so there will be other content creators, you know, doing this faster than me, but I would rather not do things too fast and do things properly for you guys, and I'm sure you'll appreciate this. I'm going to come back next week and do a comprehensive sort of all-over shakedown of exactly what has changed from Necromunda 2023 to Necromunda 2026. In the meantime, though, let's have a look at what's in the core set, what you get, what you don't get, and just some little tidbits of information to keep you going for the next few days. So here we are, guys, the Necromunda Warhammer Skirmish, Necromunda Skirmish Warhammer box that we've got here for Necromunda 2026. What's inside? Let's have a look. Right, a bunch of gubbins. We have the same range ruler that we had with Horus Heresy, I believe, and maybe even 40k2. This thing is pretty good, but it's not the whippy stick of old that we know and love. The welts on the legs from the Warhammer staff back in the 90s were something, that's for sure. These guys, though, you could still, you know, whip people with these, but just don't. I wouldn't advise it. We've still got templates, plenty of templates, the same 3 that we had in the last few editions of Necromunda. Nothing to report there. A bunch of miniatures. Now we have the Goliath sprue by the look of it here. Again, I'm sure there will be some proper unboxing of these guys, and what I'm going to do in a series, in fact, is start from fresh with Necromunda. I'm going to start with House Goliath, and I'm going to build a gang, I'm going to kit bash it, I'm going to build it, I'm going to paint it, I'm going to do a campaign and all that stuff, just following the progression that I make with a Goliath gang. Anyway, that's for another video. In the meantime, though, we have 2 identical sprues of Escher and Goliath, as we knew we'd get. We then have a plastic tokens, which is really interesting here. The plastic tokens, I have to say, are serious injuries along here. We've got flesh wounds. We've got, I think this is probably panicked, which is something that I've seen a little bit about already. Out of ammo, which is not as much of a thing. Activation markers. More flesh wounds, more wounds, and yeah, that's basically everything. But it's nice to have plastic, although you do have to paint them. We've got Insanity, I believe. We've got no idea what that is, maybe suppressed or pinned. And we've also got Webbed there as well. So unfortunately, Webbed is still in the game. And then lastly, we have a sprue of terrain. Only 1 sprue, it's not much. It is quite a meager box, this, but, you know, it's a core starter set. You're not going to get a huge amount of terrain in it. It's kind of nice that we actually get any, to be honest. It'll be interesting to see how these work on top of a actual tile. So maybe I'll put these onto 1 tile and just make a slightly more sparse-looking tile for Necromunda. Alright, you can tell this guy has been thrown around at the post office as well, which is a bit of a shame there, but that's what you get in Australia, unfortunately. Bloody cowboys, I tell you. Having a look under here, though, as I destroy the box, we've got the dice, which are just black and yellow. I'm not going to bother opening those. And we've got a bunch of bases, which I believe are the same as they were before. So the slightly bigger size for Goliath and the slightly smaller size for Escher. Inside another box here, we have Warhammer Necromunda Skirmish, and the thing that I'm most excited to have a look at, the thing that I'm going straight for, as you can tell, is the core rulebook. This is a chunky big boy, and I'm going to spend the next few nights reading this into the small hours over candlelight and really dissect this ready for next week so that I can do a full, massive video for you. Inside that, we then have a ton of cards, and we also have the build guides and the sort of play mat as well, which I may keep. We've also got these interesting sort of start playing guides as well, reference sheets, which are pretty basic, but, you know, good to have for new players, that's for sure. And again, this box set is aimed at new players. I reiterate, this box set is aimed at new players. All right, boys and girls, the time we've all been waiting for, the core rulebook. I can smell it from here. This is the new core rulebook. Let's have a look at see what's inside here. It feels pretty chunky, but it's certainly not as big as the last 2023 rulebook. I'm not sure how many pages this is, but I'll find out at the end here. Contents, pretty simple here. We've got skills, the absence of ferocity, which I did notice already. Trading post, I'm working backwards here. Necromunda campaigns over there. We've got founding a gang creation, etc. You will need to get the gang books if you want, you know, more details on the actual individual gangs, except for Bad Zone Enforcers apparently, which are coming later. Some lore. You know, lots of people love the lore. I love the lore too, but I have to say, I tend to skip this and go straight to the actual rules. Noble houses, clan houses in here, everything explained from House Escher down to House Van Saar. And then we get to the rules introduction with a really nice piece of artwork of an Escher there as well. Not too colourful, which is good. First principles, measuring distances, etc. And here you go. Look, this is nice. We've got mention of the arbitrator. So the arbitrator, still very much part of the essence of Necromunda, and I really like that that's been included already. Line of sight and cover. So we still have vision arcs. A few people were worried about that. And we have the sort of arc traits as well. Arc trait, which might be different for vehicles and things like that. And already I can see a change to cover. It has been stripped back by the looks of it. If the target is fully visible, they are not in cover. If any of the target is obscured by terrain or models, they are in cover. So here we go, guys. You've heard it here first. Cover does not have soft and heavy anymore. Cover is just you are or you aren't. We've got model statuses here, and the one that I'm going straight to here is suppressed, because I think this is probably how pinned has been changed here. Models generally become suppressed as a result of being hit by enemy fire and may perform one less action during their activation. If a suppressed model ever becomes engaged by an enemy model, they will immediately change their status to engaged. A model can never be both suppressed and engaged. Very interesting. So slightly different to pinned. You're not just lying down on the ground. You are instead given one less action. I like it. Gang fighters and their weaponry. We've got the Escher fighter here that we saw in the Warhammer community article. We've also got all the characteristics tests and checks as well, with initiative changing slightly, just being a number now, not a plus. It's also worth noting that the characteristic maximums are huge. You can have a maximum of 10 wounds, 10 initiative, 10 attacks, and 12 movements. So that's pretty crazy, but, you know, why not? Confirmed here as well, lethality, in case you were wondering, is damage. So lethality and damage are the same thing now. You roll one dice for whatever the L number is. Game structure now, and it's nice to see, thankfully, that activating gangs, you go, I go. You still have the alternating activations that we know and love for the sort of tactical element of the game. It's no longer, you know, it hasn't gone back to N95 where it's just you move your whole gang and then the other guy moves their whole gang. It's basically exactly the same as it was. It looks like things haven't changed with actions as well. You still have different types of actions. You have single actions and double actions and free actions now as well. So slightly different. No simple, basic or double, just single and double and free. Cal Jericho looking very handsome there. In terms of the actions, we've got all sorts of new things. And again, I'm not going to go through all of these, but let's just pick a couple out. Treat ally. Choose one seriously injured friendly fighter within an inch and selected friendly fighter immediately makes a recovery test. Pretty cool. Dash is another one here. The model may move a distance equal to their movement characteristic plus their initiative characteristic in inches. Very, very interesting. I don't mind that, you know. I was a bit worried that we were reducing movement too far, but it does mean that if you want to dash as an Ogrin or a Goliath, you're going a lot less far than you are if you're an Escher. So an Escher's initiative of 4 in this case, and their movement is 5, so you get to dash 9 inches instead of 10 inches, which you would have moved in the last game. Anyway, that's for another video. Shooting core rules here. It has been confirmed that you make the hit roll before figuring out cover, and then cover basically is a bonus to your armor save. You only use firepower dice when using rapid fire weapons, just to keep things a bit more streamlined. So anything with rapid fire or ammo X has to use the ammo dice to figure out whether they are out of ammo. Otherwise, everything that is, you know, common is also plentiful. So much more plentiful weapons in the game, which is interesting. It definitely cuts a bit of time out. Close combat, and here's where we really wanted things to change. Again, though, I don't want to go into too much detail here because this is for another video, but as we can see, all sorts of juicy little bits of information on the page here. You know, and reaction attacks and stuff are slightly different now. Determining initiative. I'm actually going to leave that now and just let you, you know, look at the page there for a little while and figure it out yourself. I'll come back and talk about that at length next week. We got weird powers and weirds. We got all sorts of shenanigans in here. Post-battle sequence, post-cycle sequence. The artwork has definitely changed. It's a new artist, I reckon. It's pretty nice, though, to be fair. And we got all the founding a gang and stuff in here as well. And all of the stuff mentioned. It's nice to see Malstrains getting a mention at the back here, and also Spires. So confirmed, these guys will be playable in the next books. And then lastly, we've got Necromunda campaigns and how they work. Again, I'm going to save this for next week when I come back and do a really in-depth thing. But so far, guys, so good. I am not too alarmed by any of these changes. If anything, the game is slightly more streamlined and more stripped back from the sort of first impressions, but I'm not too scared about it. Things are looking like they are in a good place. Again, you don't really know until you actually have a playthrough and play some games, but so far, so good, guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to be back in the week with a comprehensive guide to what has changed in Necromunda 2026. Again, thank you to Games Workshop for supplying the goods on this one and allowing me to do my thing. I will be back next week. Stay tuned for more. Peace out.